Welcome traders, it's Saturday afternoon here in the UK, it's just coming up to late morning in the US. So I'm just sitting here, just going through all the charts, trying to make my mind up as to whether the markets are bullish and bearish. And I'm seeing some mixed indicators, but on the whole, I'm seeing sideways to bullish in some of the indices. But there are some shaky charts out there, so let's just go through and see if we can pin down where we think we're going here. This is the Nikkei on the daily on the right and the weekly on the left. And you can see on Friday we gapped down to this support and closed higher, so we basically filled this gap here. This Nikkei tends to be quite a gappy indices, Nikkei 225. So if we hold this level here and close higher, then I would be bullish. With 3 red bars on the weekly chart, so this is not a good indication. I think the Nikkei, to me, the reason why I pay attention to it is because the Nikkei, the Japanese economy has been trudging along the bottom, scraping along the bottom for a very, very long time. 2 lost decades. And incredible deflationary pressures which are extremely harmful to an economy, which is why I pay so much time to seeing what the European and US inflation levels are like. So, I pay a lot of attention to this Nikkei in the last couple of years in particular, as we try and see how much steam this recovery is getting up in the US and the European zone. And I'm seeing a lot of positive things, but it's all about where we are in the cycle and what to expect in the coming days and weeks, particularly after Christmas. And we had some strong data last week. We had good GDP for the US with better than expected jobs, and the UK service sector was extremely good, which is a major factor in what is a very service-dominated economy here in the UK. So Nikkei is sideways to weak. The Dow closed higher. We've been spent 3 days playing with this 15,700 level, and we closed on the high for the week. So that's 3 weeks of high closes. We are above this resistance. So this was 15,670 on the weekly chart was resistance, it's now support. So we've got the 50 EMA creeping up, we have got the higher close, so a pullback to 15,670 is a buy. We have, however, got, and let me just pause, let me just get the trend lines on. Once I put the trend lines on, you can see that this weekly chart keeps knocking up against this level here, and we're at the top of the channel on the Dow. But again, the case for the bulls is we had 1, 2, 3 touches of this trend line. This could well be 4 and through. Or, sorry, 3 and through. 3 touches failed. The 4th one should succeed. That's normally what happens, but we've not closed above the trend line. We've closed above resistance, we've not closed above the trend line. So that's why I am really fishing for key indicators here. And it's interesting how when we got to this level here, they shot it straight down on Thursday. FTSE, hammer-like bar on the daily. Could see some retests of these lower levels. The FTSE lagged for me. We all had that great services sector data, and they sold it. So I think we might shuffle around here, and then we'll decide which way the direction is going to be once we come out of that box on the FTSE. Because that's a weaker close there on the FTSE. This is major resistance 6,700, and we closed slightly lower. And on the monthly chart, this 6,700 and 6,750 has been huge. So selling pressure in the Nikkei and the FTSE, with the exception of that Friday close, and strength in the dollar. Now let's go to the dollar now. If we take a look at the one key indicator of the strength in the dollar, is obviously the Euro US. We've come off 138, and any highs that are sold into, but underneath this trend line here. I'm looking to short 134.50 to see if we can come down and test at least 132. Ultimately, the massive support levels is right down here at 128. But we've got this weekly 50 and 200 here to support it. So I think we may only come down to 132. Certainly, start closing underneath even 132.50, I would start to get concerned. Okay, but that's 2 heavy weeks of selling. We're just clinging onto these support levels, and there's a weekly hammer at 132. So I'm going to be patient for that. If we look at now, go to the pound US. I'm just staying out of this one for the moment. We've got 2 touches of 50 MA which got bought. These are lower close there. It's a stopping bar on the weekly underneath this trend line, and certainly we've got this trend line coming across here on the weekly is a massive trend line on the monthly, which we've hit. So I think we need to see at least I think we're going to see 158. I think we need to see at least a proper test of that 50% and potentially even 157.50. So it's a spinning top on Thursday, a lower close on Friday. We're holding the one key 160 level, but not a significant bullish close. Yen pairs. Let's look at pound yen. I like this. I think we're going to retest 160. The risk-reward ratio is not great. What's the resistance level up here? 159. That's huge. So I prefer this one. I prefer the US dollar yen. If the dollar is coming into strength, then let's stick with this. I think this is good trade. I would look for 98.50, 98.60 to see if we can run back up to possibly parity and beyond. Nice weekly close, massive support down there at 97. And we're above this trend line, so I'd want a lovely test of that trend line. Pound yen is the only other one I'm interested in at this stage. But like I said, risk-reward ratio is not great. Pound Aussie dollar is doing it. This was a massive support level here at 1675, and we're currently 170.70. Nice weekly close. I think a pullback to 169. May not get that. It's a lovely potential W pattern here. And if the rest of that W is formed, could easily come up to that high and beyond 175. Okay, let's look at oil. Tremendous selling pressure of late. Look at this weekly chart here. This was the level I'd expect oil to turn. If we now hold that, maybe come retest some of these lows a little lower. If we can start to close above 95, I think we're going to at least retest 100, and who knows, possibly even wind our way up to these highs again. Whoops. Going to do that. It's not a great daily chart though, I must admit. That is not inspiring me. The volumes down here are very low. We've been shuffling. We tend to drop, shuffle into resistance, drop, resistance, drop. So now this 96 is massive. So that's three legs down. We could just shuffle along here and then break that 92, we could still come lower from the huge level of support down there is 85, sorry. But the weekly stochastic EURUSD is not oversold. Daily has been a little divergent, but not enough to convince me that that's done yet. What would really convince me is a close above this level here. Alright, so let's look at beans. Beans have had a great couple of days. I think this, if you're looking for a nice buy and hold situation, I would buy a soybean ETF traded in dollars because of the strength of the dollar. And I would buy that support at 12.86 to see if that can break out of this trend line and get back up to these highs. Yeah, I think the grains have been very depressed this year. The yields must have been good. That's certainly what the charts are telling us. And this that's a nice engulfing bar there on the weekly. That's a nice reversal signal there on the weekly, and of course the daily reversed on Thursday. So be patient for a pullback, and I think that is a great one to trade. I like those charts a lot. Stocks, let's move into stocks now. And for this I'm just going to go into my other platform. Alright, so I'll hold the video here and then do a separate stocks video. So, Traders Roundtable, I am going to talk to you about my four favourite chart patterns. And these are chart patterns that relate to all time frames, so intraday time frames, right down to 2 and 5 minute charts, and daily and weekly chart patterns. There's only 4 of them. But the reason why I'm going to show them to you is because I want to show you how they feature extensively in my day trading. So if you're a day trader and you're looking to really extract daily income out of these markets, make sure you're at Traders Roundtable on Monday. If you want a free trial of the room and access to that Traders Roundtable, drop me a line and I'll gladly give you a 2-week free trial. Alright, enjoy the rest of your weekend and see you in the next update.